Hi everyone, welcome back for a new episode from DGMZ, Diwan-e-Ghalib Meri Zubani. To all our returning viewers, we are very glad you can join us again. And for the new viewers, welcome to the podcast for the first time. Now, if you were with me in the last weekend episode, you would know that currently we are going through Ghazal 18. In the previous episode, we had covered the first three couplets of this ghazal. And today we are going to pick up from couplet 4 onwards. So I'm not going to read the entire ghazal again. If you want to access that, please refer to Ghazal 18 part 1 episode. Today I'm going to read the three couplets we are going to cover. So this is how it goes. जलवा az-bas-ki taqaza-e-nigaah करता है. जलवा az-bas-ki taqaza-e-nigaah करता है. जौहर-ए-ainaa भी चाहे है मिश्का होना. ishrat-e-qatl-gah-e-ahl-e-tamanna मत पूछ. ishrat-e-qatl-gah-e-ahl-e-tamanna मत पूछ. ईद-ए-नाज़रा है शमशीर का उryaan होना. ले गए खाक में हम दागh-e-tamanna-e-nashaat. ले गए खाक में हम दागh-e-tamanna-e-nashaat. तू हो और आप ba-sad-rang-e-gulistaan होना. So let's dive into it. The first couplet for today is जलवा az-bas-ki taqaza-e-nigaah करता है. जौहर-ए-ainaa भी चाहे है मिसका होना. So let's do an approximate translation first. Jalwa. This is a keyword in the couplet, and what it means is splendor, countenance, glory. And more than often, this word is used to describe the beloved. So यहाँ पर ऐसा beloved word यूज़ नहीं किया है, but समझने की बात है कि जलवा है तो सिर्फ उन्हीं का जलवा है. गालिब की गज़ल में जलवेदार चीज़ अगर कोई है तो वो सिर्फ beloved है, right? So जलवा az-bas-ki. So az-bas means very much, right? And az-bas-ki is that's why. So the way this comes across is because of the splendor and glory, hence, right? So it's an interesting way of presenting the word or the sentiment, but the way it comes across is splendor, and that's why taqaza-e-nigaah करता है. Because she has this splendor and glory and countenance, that's why she demands, taqaza demands, insists upon, nigaah, nigaah as in to be seen. Of course, literal translation would mean seeing or sight, but here it means to be seen. So, splendor, glory, countenance, and that's why a demand to be seen. By extension, the beloved knows she is extraordinarily beautiful, and she knows she carries this out of this world aura and countenance about her, and that is why she demands that this be seen, this be appreciated, this be acknowledged. And by who नहीं है इसमें, I mean acknowledged by who, seen by who नहीं, just seen period, acknowledged period, anybody and everybody. Anybody and everybody coming in contact with her or in her vicinity should acknowledge the beauty and the countenance. And यहाँ पे गालिब ने बहुत खूबसूरती से, without any kind of negative connotation, he has captured that vanity, right? That vanity of beauty, wherein the beloved is, he's not portraying her as somebody arrogant, right? Just somebody very confident about her beauty and its impact, and hence expecting everybody to acknowledge it and appreciate it. So jalwa az-bas-ki taqaza-e-nigaah karta hai. The splendor, by its existence, demands to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be appreciated. jauhar-e-ainaa bhi chaahe hai misga hona. So the approximate translation is jauhar, when literally translated, it means the metal of something, the essence of something, the edge of something, right? But here, jauhar-e-ainaa, we will need to understand it a little, because the first time when I read this, second line, ना तो ये दिमाग में बैठ रही थी ना दिल में उतर रही थी, because you must have realized after being with me for so many episodes that with Ghalib there is a aha moment, because he is not saying anything which is simple. उनकी बातों में हजारों पेच होते हैं, and एक moment आ जाती है, there comes a time when you might not have unraveled all the mysteries in what he has written, but you have unraveled enough to go, I get it. So I was not able to get it. That what is he comparing in a mirror, or why is he comparing something in a mirror to eyelashes? Why eyelashes? Eyelashes are these, you can compare it to something linear, some striations. I read around, a lot of people have translated it as striations in the mirror, but still it was not sitting. So you will have to bear with me while I read to you a small content which I gathered online. And once we have gone through it, the second line will take a life of its own. Trust me on that. So this is what I have. In today's world, where perfection is often synonymous with value, it's refreshing to explore the allure of imperfection in traditional art forms. One such treasure that celebrates its unique imperfections is the Aranmula Kannadi. Aranmula, the name of a village in Kerala, and Kannadi means mirror, a handcrafted metal. While modern manufacturing strives for uniformity, the Aranmula Kannadi proudly showcases the small dots and scratches that are an inherent part of its creation, making it a testament to the authenticity of age-old craftsmanship. It is unique because it is a metal mirror that is front reflecting. This makes it different from regular glass mirrors, where reflection takes place from the back surface of the glass. There are two main differences between an ordinary glass mirror and the Aranmula Kannadi. Mirrors are usually made of glass, whereas Aranmula Kannadi is made of metal. Glass mirrors are silvered on the rear, which is back, whereas the metal mirrors are not silvered at all. An even surface and a good polish is what makes a metal mirror an excellent reflector. Aranmula Kannadi mirrors begin with an alloy of copper and tin melted to create a molten metal. This molten metal is then carefully poured into a clay mold, and what emerges is far from perfect in the conventional sense, but is an artwork believed to have been discovered over 500 years ago. The small dots and scratches that you may notice on an Aranmula Kannadi are not flaws to be concealed, but rather unique characteristics that distinguish it from mass produced mirrors. These imperfections are a result of the traditional manufacturing process, where artisans painstakingly polish the mirror surface by hand using an amalgamation of wax, resin, and oils. This method, known as katil-thadam, contributes to the mirror's clarity and sharpness, but also creates tiny blemishes that tell a story of the human touch. The mirror's polished surface is achieved through a complex and delicate process that involves the use of traditional techniques and materials. The metal mirrors manufactured in Aranmula are front surface reflecting mirrors, which eliminate secondary reflections and aberrations, which are typical of back surface mirrors. And the special metal alloy used along with the polished surface, Aranmula Kannadi reflects images with greater clarity. Aranmula Kannadi mirror is considered to be a symbol of prosperity and good luck in Indian culture and is often given as a gift to mark important occasions. And believe me, I searched for a long time, but whatever was out there was not helping me understand this in totality. But after reading this article, everything kind of fell in place. So, first of all, the mirror Ghalib is talking about is not our traditional mirror made of glass. Ghalib is talking about these age old ancient mirrors, which were actually metal cast, and the reflection was simply by the sheer manual human effort of polishing that metal to an extent that it became a reflective surface. And after reading about the blemishes and the spots, etc., which are created during this polishing surface in the mirror, during this polishing process in the mirror, now made sense. So these eyelashes that he talks about, right? जौहर-ए-आईना भी चाहे है मिश्का ओना. So जौहर-ए-आईना जो है, वो जौहर जो है, that is these blemishes. That is these spots, these striations that have been made on that metal mirror. And see, वही बात है ना, हम लोगों ने in the past we have covered a ghazal where he has compared his scars, right, to the seeds which have the potential of growing a tree full of lamps. So Ghalib की ये beauty थी. This was his beauty, that he would pick something which probably on a normal day would be categorized as a flaw or as a blemish, like scars, right? They are not how you are supposed to be. They are disfigured, and then glorify them. So in this couplet, he has picked these blemishes, these striations, these spots which are caused due to the manual polishing of these metal mirrors. He has picked them up and he has glorified them. He has glorified them. So now you can imagine the beloved is actually looking into a metal mirror, right? The beloved is looking into a metal mirror, And it almost seems as if the metal mirror is looking back at the beloved and thinking to itself, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. So, in the first line, the beloved wants to be seen. Her vanity is in play. Her confidence about her beauty is in play. In the second line, it's the mirror which is looking back at her and almost saying to itself, this is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. I don't think I will ever see anything more beautiful. And I'm so mesmerized by the reflection of this beauty in me that I don't want to be a mere reflection of her beauty. I want to be a part of her beauty. I want to be a part of that face. And that's where the desire comes in to go and become eyelashes on her face. And what would the mirror have to offer as an attribute which could become eyelashes on her face? These striations, these blemishes, these spots which it has inherited as part of that polishing surface. So once you get that context and background, I genuinely believe that suddenly the whole thing starts making so much more sense, right? Basically, simply put, the couplet, the sher is a pledge to the beloved's beauty. But this is Ghalib, so there's nothing simple in it. There's nothing simple in it. First, he will very beautifully, without pushing it into the realm of arrogance, capture the beloved's vanity and confidence about her beauty and how her beauty insists to be seen and acknowledged. And then he goes to the other side where the mirror is and then almost personifies the mirror and captures the feelings the mirror is going through when looking back at the beloved. And of course, the said with Ghalib, there was what was said and then what was left unsaid, right? So the said part, the way it comes across to me is two ends, this end, beloved's eyelashes, this end, the mirror, the polish marks on the mirror. That is the said. But the unsaid is beloved's eyes, right? Which are looking into the mirror. And the mirror itself, which again is almost like an eye looking back at the beloved. So both are looking at each other, both are admiring each other, and the mirror just wants to give up the job of being a mirror. It's not interested in being a mirror anymore. It does not want to be a mere reflection of beauty anymore. After seeing the beloved, it wants to be a part of that beauty. And that justifies, right? That justifies the vanity and confidence the beloved has in her beauty. If she can make an inanimate object like a mirror develop feelings and develop the desire to give up being a mirror and just go and be part of her beauty, her face, become eyelashes on her face. That tells you how impactful the beauty is. So that explains जलवा az-bas-ki taqaza-e-nigaah करता है, jauhar-e-ainaa भी chaahe है मिश्का होना. Let's move on to the next one. ishrat-e-qatl-gah-e-ahl-e-tamanna mat pooch. ishrat-e-qatl-gah-e-ahl-e-tamanna mat pooch. eid-e-nazzara है shamshir का uryaan होना. So let's do an approximate translation. Ishrat. Ishrat is happiness, joy, pleasure. Qatl-gah. Qatl, murder, slaughter, killing. Gah, a place, a situation, a house, a predefined destination for something. So, a place where the slaughter or the killing or the murders happen. ishrat-e-qatl-gah-e-ahl-e-tamanna mat pooch. Ahl is usually used to symbolize a collective, a group of people, something which is common to a set of people. Ahle-tamanna, people with desires. Tamanna is desires. So, the first line translates approximately into do not ask me. And I've said that in many episodes when Ghalib says, do not ask me. What he means is do ask, because this is a great detailing and explanation, right? But the translation is do not ask me to describe to you the wave of pleasure and happiness I saw on the killing fields or in the killing house, running through this collective of people who had their hearts filled with desires and wishes and dreams. So that's the first line translated. And then the second line is eid-e-nazzara hai. लफ्ज़ ही कितना खूबसूरत है. ईद नज़ारा, ईद जैसा नज़ारा. Sight that resembles the joyous occasion of Eid, right? Eid-e-nazzara hai shamshir ka uryaan hona. Shamshir is a sword, a blade, right? Uryaan, naked. So when we use that word in context to a sword, what it means is the sword coming out of its sheath, getting unsheathed, right? Getting uncovered, getting visible. So, again, to understand this, so the approximate translation is there is a killing field where there are a lot of people whose hearts are filled with desire and dreams, right? And there's a wave of happiness. There's a wave of happiness running through them, a happiness that equals the happiness you would feel during Eid, which is one of the most joyous celebrations in Islamic religion, right? Almost equivalent to that happiness. You see this wave of happiness running through these people on the killing field when they see the sword being pulled out of its sheath. So now one is thinking, what is this all about? You are on a killing field. You are going to die there. The person who's going to kill you has already started bringing out the sword that will slaughter you, murder you, kill you. And that is making a wave of joy run through the whole killing field, through all these people. Why? Why? Eid-e-nazzara, joy akin to the joy you would feel during Eid. And that is where, again, could not really understand. The first impression that came through was, well, these are people whose hearts were filled with desire and they must have been tired of waiting and wanting and all the disappointments, and hence they are happy to see the sword come out, because now they will get killed and everything will be over, right? They will get rid of their uh, uh, grief and pain. But then why would Ghalib use a word like Eid-e-nazzara? Why would Ghalib use a word like ishrat? Now, these are words which are actual joys. And that is where we will have to dive into Eid. Eid. To try to understand what exactly was he trying to capture. So bear with me while I go through this description, and once I'm done with it, I believe the couplet will start making sense. So there are two official holidays celebrated within Islam: Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Eid al-Fitr translates as festival of the breaking of the fast. And like Ramadan, it starts with the first sighting of the new moon. Eid al-Fitr finds its origins in the early years of Islam, when the Prophet Muhammad, who received the revelations of the Quran, taught his followers about the importance of fasting during the holy month of Ramadan. Hence, fasting from dawn to sunset during Ramadan is considered one of the five pillars of Islam. The month of Ramadan holds immense significance for Muslims, as it is believed that during this month the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. And Eid al-Fitr has this Chand Raat, which approximately translates to night of the moon. And this is usually at the eve of the festival of Eid al-Fitr, when you sight the new moon for the first time. Now, the second official holiday is Eid al-Adha, which means Feast of the Sacrifice. This is celebrated just over 2 months after Eid al-Fitr and lasts for 4 days. Eid al-Adha coincides with the end of Hajj, the annual Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia. History of Eid al-Adha dates back to when Abraham, or Prophet Ibrahim, kept having a recurring dream of slaughtering his beloved son Ismail to fulfill the wishes of God. Ibrahim spoke to his son regarding this dream, explaining to him how God wanted him to make the sacrifice, and Ismail, who was just as much a man of God, agreed with his father and asked him to comply with the wishes of Allah. Shaitan, the devil, tempted Ibrahim and tried to dissuade him from making the sacrifice, but he tried to shun it away by pelting it with stones. Allah saw Ibrahim's absolute devotion and sent Jibril, angel Gabriel, the archangel, bearing a sheep for slaughter. Jibril told Ibrahim that God was pleased with his devotion to him and sent the sheep to be slaughtered in place of his son. Ever since then, cattle sacrifice is a major part of Eid ul-Adha. Celebrations which not only commemorate Prophet Ibrahim and Ismail's love for Allah, but also show that one is willing to make the ultimate sacrifice of what they love dearly for the sake of Allah. Again, there is a moon sighting for Eid ul-Adha or Bakra Eid, and this holds great importance for Muslims as it marks the beginning of the Islamic month of Dhul Hijjah. So, after going through that, one realizes that, first of all, there are two types of Eid, right? And the second one, Eid ul-Adha, has a very important, story and relevance around sacrifice for Allah, right? And as you must have noticed in the story, both Ibrahim and Ismail, both the father and the son, had a willingness, a joyful willingness to make this necessary sacrifice for Allah. They, despite the emotional torture this decision would have entailed, keeping in mind that it was the father and the son, both motivated by their complete, complete love for Allah, both motivated by that love, joyfully, eagerly were going to sacrifice themselves. Going to sacrifice themselves, and then Allah, in His grace, came and, you know, came and relieved them from this test, and instead gave them the option of sacrificing a sheep. So now, with that background in mind, when you read this sher again, you can probably see a stronger, deeper connect to the Eid reference, eid-e-nazzara, right? So, एक बार फिर से पढ़ते हैं, ishrat-e-qatl-gah-e-ahl-e-tamanna mat pooch. Do not ask me to explain and detail to you that huge wave of joy that went through all these people on that killing field whose hearts were filled with desire. And tamanna is translated to desire, but by extension, love. People whose hearts were filled with love, right? They almost felt a wave of pleasure run through them when they saw the knife getting exposed, knowing that now they will be sacrificed. So this sacrifice was a willing, joyful sacrifice where people were, their hearts were filled with love, and they were without any regret, without any remorse, willingly ready to give up their life. Now, like always in Urdu poetry, the love can be for the beloved, the love can be for the ultimate God. Or it can switch in between, right? So, but the concept is always of this ultimate complete love that does not hesitate, to sacrifice, that takes it as a privilege, an honor to be sacrificed in the name of that ultimate love. So I think that background does kind of give you give you something to think about. This is not as simple as a lot of lovers who had unrequited love were brought together in a place, and now the beloved is going to kill them, right? It's not as simple as that, though that concept is also very common in Urdu poetry. But I do think that Ghalib wants to bring that willing willingly sacrificing yourself for something you believe in, something you love, something you trust, something that is more to you than your life, than yourself, than your existence, loving something more than you love yourself, right? So I do think that Ghalib wants to bring that underlying meaning when he uses eid-e-nazzara. Now, that explains, or that kind of gives us a good background on which this sher might rest, right? But even from a simple visualization perspective, so with Ghalib, the words were pictures. His words were pictures, mini pictures. And if you have 13 words in a couplet, you have 13 pictures that you can put together and make a tiny movie out of it, right? So I do think that here, that drawing of the sword, as we all know, the sword has a very characteristic shape. It's never, some of them are straight, but usually the sword will have this ever so slight curve to it, right? There's a slight curve to it. And of course, if you look at the sword from top, all you see is this edge, right? A slightly curved edge. That's what you see of the sword. And when Ghalib says eid-e-nazzara hai, ईद-ए-नज़ारा है शमशीर का उरिया होना, सो ईद का सबसे बड़ा नज़ारा वो चांद ही होता है. इट्स दैट मून दैट यू सी, be it Eid ul-Fitr, be it Eid ul-Adha, both of them, the biggest sight to behold during Eid is that first moon. And Ghalib is saying that that sword looks like the first moon of Eid. That sword looks like the first moon of Eid. So it is not looking like a killing machine or something that is going to take away their life. No. It is looking like a sight for which they have waited. For which they have waited for a long time. And now their hearts are filled with joy when they finally see it. So वो भी एक बहुत, it's a beautiful visualization. And what a comparison. दाद तो देनी पड़ेगी आपको गालिब की. गालिब की आपको दाद देनी पड़ेगी कि observation was so astute that he didn't miss anything, and then he would use that to create an imagination which was unsurpassed. You could never think of it. You could never think of it, but यहाँ पे गालिब ने इतनी खूबसूरती से उस तलवार, उस जानलेवा चीज़ को कितना खूबसूरत रूप दे दिया, उसको ईद का चांद बना दिया. वो तलवार जो मारने के लिए निकाली गई है बाहर अपनी म्यान से, उसको एक ईद का चांद बता दिया. एंड ईद का चांद फॉर द पीपल, ahl-e-tamanna, whose hearts are filled with love and desires and dreams. बाकी सबके लिए स्वॉर्ड होगी, बट इन लोगों के लिए जिनके दिल तमन्नाओं से भरे हैं, उनके लिए ये ईद का नज़ारा है, ईद का चांद है. Okay. Now, Qatl-gah, the sher is complete, but we always at DGMZ try to explore the new words we come across or the new concepts in Urdu that we come across. So for this couplet, as I was telling you, Qatl-gah is a very commonly used concept. यूजुअली अब गालिब ने तो इसको एक अलग ही लेवल पे यूज़ किया है, बट यूजुअली जब ये यूज़ किया जाता है, इट इज़ यूज्ड इन कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ द लवर अल्टीमेटली गिविंग अप देयर लाइफ, राइट, एंड और द बिलवेड अल्टीमेटली टेकिंग अवे देयर लाइफ, एंड द लवर willingly going ahead with it because that seems to be the only and the most probable action at this point in time. So इसके लिए ये कुछ शेर ढूंढे थे. So let me share them with you. कैफी आज़मी का ये शेर है, उठा के सर मुझे इतना तो देख लेने दे, उठा के सर मुझे इतना तो देख लेने दे कि कत्ल गाह में दीवाने आए हैं क्या क्या. So the approximate translation is allow me the mohalat or the opportunity to at least raise my head once and have a look around, because I do want to see that in this killing field, other than me, who all have arrived. So marte bhi the lover wants to take a stock of how many competitors right? How many competitors had the courage like mine to come to this killing field and sacrifice themselves? दूसरा ये शेर है बशीर फारूकी का। कत्ल गाह में ये चारगाह है मेरे दम से बशीर। कत्ल गाह में ये चारगाह है मेरे दम से बशीर। मुझको देखा तो चमकने लगे खंजर सारे। Beautiful. So the approximate translation is that the light in these killing fields is because of me. Because when I enter this killing field, all the daggers and swords start shining. Start shining by extension, start shining because now they are getting activated. They know the best of the best has arrived, whom we have to kill. The best of the best has arrived, and they start shining, and that is I am the one who keeps these killing fields lit up. दाग दहलवी का शेर है। मिलाते हो उसी को खाक में जो दिल से मिलता है। मिलाते हो उसी को खाक में जो दिल से मिलता है। मेरी जान चाहने वाले बड़ी मुश्किल से मिलता है। चाहने वाला बड़ी मुश्किल से मिलता है। So the approximate translation is you are raising to dust. You are raising to dust someone who was wanting to meet your heart with their heart. Keep in mind, my dear, such people are very rare. While you raise me to dust, or while you slaughter me, or while you kill me, keep in mind that such people are far and few in between. मीर तकी मीर का ये शेर है। आग थे इब्तिदाए इश्क में हम। आग थे इब्तिदाए इश्क में हम। अब जो हैं खाक इंतहा है ये। Beautiful शेर, and of course मीर का शेर है। The approximate translation is that when I began in love, my beginning in love, I started in love as fire. I started in love as fire, and today, as I lay mixed in dust, is the end of me in love. So, started with a bang and finally ended mixed with dust. Mixed with dust as in ended, finished, over. And ये last, अमीर मिनाई का शेर। डाल के खाक मेरे खून पे कातिल ने कहा। डाल के खाक मेरे खून पे कातिल ने कहा। कुछ ये मेहंदी नहीं मेरी की छुपा भी ना सकूं। So basically the approximate translation is that my executioner, by extension beloved, took dust and put it over my slaughtered body and said, this isn't the henna on my hands that it cannot be hidden. This red color of blood can easily be hidden by dust. So let's cover it with dust. Just the nonchalance of the beloved, right? Wherein she has little to no value of the blood. It's just an inconvenience for her, and unlike her henna, which is on her hand and almost tattooed there and will not come off anytime soon, according to her, the blood of the beloved is easily covered. Let's cover that. So that was just to give you a little insight into how qatl-gah and murder of the lover by the beloved has been captured by other poets. Okay, let's move on to the last couplet of today. ले गए खाक में हम दागh-e-tamanna-e-nashaat. ले गए खाक में हम दागh-e-tamanna-e-nashaat. तू हो और आप बसद रंग गुलिस्तां होना. It's not a very complicated sher. Let's do an approximate translation. ले गए खाक में हम. I took it to dust with me. daagh-e-tamanna-e-nashaat. The scars created by my unfulfilled desires for happiness and joy and pleasure. तू हो, now you be, और आप ba-sad-rang-e-gulistaan hona. You be, and may you flourish. May you live a life that has hundreds of colors of the garden. So basically, hundreds of colors of joy, hundreds of colors of pleasure. All the things that I wished, they did not get fulfilled. Those wishes became scars. I'm going to take those scars with me to dust. And you stay. You stay and you enjoy life with all those colors of joy and pleasure and happiness. Now, the sher is very straightforward. You can almost say it's a goodbye, but it's not just a simple goodbye. There are 2-3 things in this जो कि काबिल गौर हैं. सबसे पहली बात, ले गए खाक में हम. It's not simply about I am dead and my desires are buried with me. There is something more to it. And what that is इसके लिए इंग्लिश में एक बहुत अच्छा फ्रेज है, take it to one's grave. And take it to one's grave, what that signifies or implies is that you have a secret. You have a secret and you will take it to your grave. No one will ever know it. It is yours and yours to keep safely and safeguarded. You have to take it to your grave and not divulge it to any living soul. So ले गए खाक में हम, daagh-e-tamanna-e-nashaat. So Ghalib is saying, अब आपको तो पता है, we all know Ghalib, and I repeat this sher many times, हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले. So Ghalib was a lover with 1,000,000 desires. And when those desires don't get fulfilled, these scars, you can imagine, million scars, right? daagh-e-tamanna-e-nashaat. All those desires did not get fulfilled, became wounds of unfulfilled, unrequited love, and later left scars. So how many scars are we looking at? How many scars? Millions? And Ghalib is saying, all these scars that are testament to the desires I had for you, for your love, all these scars which can clearly be a proof of the fact as to how you have kept me unfulfilled, kept my desires unfulfilled. All these scars, I will take it with me to my grave. No one will know. No one will ever know how much I asked of you and how little you gave, and what that did to me. No one will know. आपके सर पे कोई इल्ज़ाम नहीं होगा. अपने साथ हम ये सब ले जाएंगे. किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा. खाक में ले जाएंगे. जब हम दफन होंगे तो ये सब साथ में दफन हो जाएगा. आप पे कोई इल्ज़ाम नहीं है, आप पे कोई गुनाह नहीं है. आप जिंदों की ज़मीन पे रहो, खुश रहो, बसद 100 और बहुत सारे 100 यानी हज़ारों रंग की खुशियाँ, हज़ारों रंग की प्लेजर्स आपको मिले. May your life be filled with hundreds of colors that any garden of life can offer. So, so there is a kind of now, yes, Ghalib will keep the secret and take it to grave, बट उसमें कहीं एक आप देख रहे हैं एक प्रोटेक्टिव इंस्टिंक्ट जो आखिर तक बना रहा टुवर्ड्स द बिलवेड. देयर वाज दिस प्रोटेक्टिव इंस्टिंक्ट, एक लिहाज, एक पर्दादारी जो कि आखिरी वक्त तक बनी रही. एंड गालिब ऑलमोस्ट एक प्रॉमिस करते हुए जा रहे हैं कि फिक्र मत करो, फिक्र मत करो, ये सब मैं अपने साथ ले जाऊंगा. ऐसा कुछ बाहर नहीं छोड़ के जाऊंगा जिससे कि किसी को ये खबर हो जाए कि आपके हमारे बीच में क्या था और मोर लिटरली क्या नहीं था. राइट. गालिब कहते हैं आप फिक्र ना करिए, ये सब हम अपने साथ ले जाएंगे. एंड इसमें एक दिस इज़ द वे आई परसीव इट. आपको पता है एट DGMZ we only get into personal impressions the way things come across, right? So the other thing that comes across is that गालिब एक तरीके से ये भी कह रहे हैं कि इन पे तुम्हारा कोई हक नहीं है, ये मैं अपने साथ लेके जाऊंगा. आप उस तरह से भी सोच सकते हैं कि ये सारी चीज़ें ले जाऊंगा मैं अपने साथ, वैसे भी तुम्हें ज़रूरत नहीं है. एंड प्रॉब्ली एक तरीके से ये भी कह रहे हैं कि तुम्हारा इन पे हक भी नहीं है, तुम्हारा इन पे हक भी नहीं है. ये जो दाग हैं इन ये डिज़ायर्स के हैं और तुम्हारे लिए उनकी कभी कोई वैल्यू थी ही नहीं. ना तो डिज़ायर्स की कोई वैल्यू थी, ना उनके अनफुलफिल्ड होने पे जो स्कार्स क्रिएट हुए उनकी कोई वैल्यू. फॉर यू ऑल दिस इज यूजलेस, राइट? And hence you don't deserve any of it. I'm going to take all of it with me. So उस तरह से भी आप सोच सकते हैं. बट हर हाल में, हर सूरत में गालिब वेरी सिंपली अपनी बिलवेड को बोले हम तो चले, हम चले और अपने साथ जो कुछ था हमारा ले चले. आपके लिए कुछ छोड़ के नहीं जाएंगे ताकि आप पे कोई इल्ज़ाम ना आए, आप पे कोई भार ना रहे, आप पे किसी किस्म की कोई उंगली ना उठे. आप आराम से अपनी ज़िंदगी के फ्री स्कॉट फ्री जिए और हम ये सब ले गए अपने साथ. अब इसके लिए कुछ शेर हैं जो कि अच्छे हैं. एक ये ज़ेब गौरी का शेर है. अधूरी छोड़ के तस्वीर मर गया वो ज़ेब, अधूरी छोड़ के तस्वीर मर गया वो ज़ेब, कोई भी रंग मयस्सर ना था लहू के सिवा. So basically the approximate translation is that the lover left his picture unfinished and gave up his life. And of course this picture must have been that huge canvas of colorful dreams and desires and wishes, right? But the lover left it unfinished and died because there was no other color possible for him except the red color of blood. अब वो रेड कलर से कितना भरेंगे पिक्चर को, और भी तो कोई कलर चाहिए, पर कोई कलर और मुनासिब ही नहीं हुआ ज़िंदगी में, और कोई रंग ज़िंदगी में आया ही नहीं सिवाय इस खून के लाल रंग के. सौरभ शेखर का ये शेर, यकी मर गया मेरा गुमान भी नहीं बचा, यकी मर गया मेरा गुमान भी नहीं बचा, कहीं किसी ख्याल का निशान भी नहीं बचा. So the approximate translation is my faith died, my faith, my clarity died, my doubts died, my thoughts died. So the facts died, the thoughts died, the possibilities died, nothing was left. Nothing was left. And this is about the death of the lover, right? So when the lover dies, all these things died with him. All these things died with him. अख्तर सैयद खान का ये शेर, कौन जीने के लिए मरता रहे, कौन जीने के लिए मरता रहे, लो संभालो अपनी दुनिया हम चले. Beautiful share. And very in sync with what we were discussing. So the approximate translation is, how long should I keep dying to live? How long can one just keep dying again and again? Death by small cuts, right? How long can one keep dying just to keep living? Forget it. You take care of your world. I am exiting. आई एम एग्जिटिंग इट. सो बिल्कुल वो गालिब का जज्बा है कि ले चले खाक में हम, दागh-e-tamanna-e-nashaat, तू हो और आप ba-sad-rang-e-gulistaan होना. You enjoy your world full of colors and dreams and joys and happiness. I am exiting. I'm out of here. I am out of here. Okay, so we are going to stop here. And 3 और couplets बाकी हैं. We will cover them in the next episode. If you liked the impressions from today, request you to click like. If you have comments or feedback, request you to share that with me. Last episode got a lot of comments. All comments were great. Very constructive feedback, very encouraging feedback, and I would like to assure you that wherever possible, we will keep trying to improve. We will keep trying to improve and make the episodes more and more accurate and better, right, for your consumption. Now, for the new viewers, as always, a strong recommendation to access the introduction to DGMZ episode, because that will give you a good insight into the motivation behind this podcast. What are we trying to do here, right? Also, for your reference, we have 2 playlists. One playlist covers these weekend episodes, where we get into one ghazal from Diwan-e-Ghalib every week. And then the second playlist has bonus episodes, where we still cover topics of Urdu poetry related to Mirza, events at DGMZ, but not the ghazals. So access both playlists, see the episodes. They all have titles and description. Whatever interests you, feel free to access that. And lastly, if you know somebody who would enjoy this content, humble request, please share it through your social media, be it WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Now, I will stop here and end the episode here. Let me send a lot of love and light to all of you, and thanks for watching.